right, everyone. So we will go ahead and get started since we have at least two of our representatives here. I can see. All right, so welcome everybody. I'm Sonia Lang, co-president of the Rolando Park Community Council. And so I want to go ahead and call the meeting to order. We are recording the meeting to let you know. And we also place the recordings on Facebook, and you can see the meeting minutes posted on our rolandopark.org website. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started with our dues and membership. Cheryl?
Okay. We have 20 members, $240 in dues, $180.76 in donations for a total of $420.76. And that is 15 renewing members and 5 new members.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody have anything on that? All right, so we'll move right along. Okay, we'll go ahead and go with our community announcements. We'll be getting announcements from Redwood Village and from Rolando Park. So I will start with Jennifer.
Okay, thank you, Sonia. Hello, everyone. Nice to see so many faces. Good to be back here. I just have two things mainly, not a lot. A huge thank you to Officer Hoskins, but I know you did it again. Bettina, Lynn, Jerry, and Vicky. So kind of a group effort for the water tower cleanup right over here in Redwood Village behind Darnall Elementary School. Thank you so much. You know, Oak Park, Rolando Park, helping out to clean that area up. So it ended up not being terribly too cumbersome from what I hear from Bettina. Thank you, Bettina, for being our lead on that. Appreciate it so much. And the second item, it's on a sad note, we have lost a community member. Many of you may have known Gary Onstadt, long time community member, very helpful with many things in Redwood Village. Sadly, Trudy lost Gary recently, so condolences to Trudy. And if you have time, send her a note. If you need her contact, feel free to reach out to me. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks,
you.
Jennifer.
So I will hand this over to Lynn for the Rolando Park community.
Yes, and Jennifer, I would love to take credit, but I was not at the water tower cleanup. I wish. Just one second. Okay, just a couple of quick announcements tonight, folks. Our next cleanup was, we said last month, we're doing 8 cleanups between Redwood Village and Rolando Park this year. Our second one is our annual Xena Canyon cleanup on April 22nd, which is Earth Day. Come on in. So you can pre-register. I'm going to drop the link into the chat, and you can also find it on our website and Facebook page, and I'll post it on Nextdoor too. But it'll be the way we've usually set it up. We'll have a table there. We'll have registration forms for those of you who don't pre-register. We have coffee, cold water, snacks. We've got bags and gloves from I Love a Clean San Diego. And just for comparison, I hope we have a turnout like we did last year. Where it goes, and I'm stuck.
Yeah, where's it lost?
There we go. This is from last year. We had more than 50 people show up. So we had an incredible turnout. That's really literally only half the people that showed up. We had a whole fraternity from San Diego State who came and helped. So it was a really good event, and we hope we have a turnout like that again this year. So as I said, that's the second of 8 cleanups this year. I hope Martha has maybe some news about the May 13th one, which will be the hazardous waste collection at the Choice Operations Yard. on College Grove. And then back in June, we'll be back on University. And this time we'll be working west of College in the Redwood Village side. Yeah, Jennifer, I'm just going to go ahead and announce this too, because the city engineering came to our planning group and they have an update finally on Streamview Drive. This is going to be of a lot of interest to people in Redwood Village. So they'll be at the planning group meeting next month in May, and you can attend in person at Teen Challenge or online via Zoom. And we'll post the information on Nextdoor, Facebook, and send it out to the mailing list for people who want to attend. I hope we get a good turnout for this with lots of questions about this design update, because it's a big concern for Redwood Village and Oak Park. Okay. And I'm trying not to be too dramatic here, but this could be a reality at the joint use park because of the problem we're seeing with off-leash dogs. So I just want to say, people who don't understand, maybe you can take dogs off leash at a community park or a neighborhood park, and you can get away with it for a little while. But because a joint use park is owned by the city and the school district together, they have zero tolerance for the problem. They've already closed a joint use park down in Del Cerro, and we've seen quite a few incidences over here, and we just need to see if we can put a stop to it and not lose access to our park. Okay? End of
Lynn, may I
conversation.
comment? Lynn?
Yes, please.
So I've been there twice.
Yeah.
And each time I've been there, I've never seen truly any dog off leash. Now I haven't went in this time of the evening for a while. You know, I've always been during the day, so that may have been part of it. But is it the school that is saying it, or when are these times?
No, I've actually encountered it, and I think other people who were there at the park, particularly if you're there on weekends and after 5, and go to the upper level, Terry. You won't see the dogs on the lower level. Most people go to the upper level. I'm not happy about this, but I had an incident about 3 weeks ago where my dog was attacked up there.
Oh.
Charged, she wasn't attacked, and I started screaming. So they left because I called the Humane Society on the spot, and they just got in their car and booked. So I haven't seen them since then, but this park, the community council for the last 15 years advocated to get a park for the community. We didn't advocate for an off-leash dog park. And we don't want the community to lose access because of a few irresponsible people who think it's okay, no one's there, or, you know, they don't see the issues. And it is an issue. Someone at Sunshine Park in La Mesa was attacked in February, and she was severely injured, and her dog had to have one of his legs amputated.
Oh.
We just don't want to see stuff like this going on at a joint use park. That's all.
Can we put out on your website that if anyone does see that and they can get a picture of the vehicle that the individuals are in and send that to me?
I have 2. I'll send them to you.
Okay, but can we get that in a?
Yes.
Because, you know, I think going forward, one of the things we have to do is, it's kind of like people that are illegally dumping, you know, stuff in large quantities. The chance of us catching them is probably 0, but you just get a picture of the plate and we can at least let them know that we're on to them. And I've always found that's worked out. So if you could just put that on there and just say, or put it on Nextdoor or whatever. See if you see someone with a dog off leash, take a picture of them and then take a picture of their vehicle with a plate and send it to me.
Will do. Thank you, Terry.
Okay.
That'd be a big help. Thank you.
And for Lynn, it'll take all of us. If you see someone, maybe even let them know, you know, this happened. If you continue to do this, we will no longer have a park, and maybe that will possibly, for the few people here and there, it may impact them, and they may make a different choice.
Yeah. We'll think
Well,
positive.
Yeah.
when I went to the upper lot, there was just 2 or 3 ladies that were walking, and they thought I was looking for bad people. They were like, "Are we okay to walk here?" And I'm like, "Sure." I go, "Can I walk with you?" They're like, "What is there something going on?" And I'm like, "Nope, just walking my legs."
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Terry.
So is that everything we got?
That's all I had tonight. Yep.
Okay, so that's all of our community announcements. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open it up to public comments on non-agenda items. And so we kind of ask that you keep it to 2 minutes. Is there anyone that has any public comments, anything they'd like to announce, discuss, or anything like that? Any hands up? I see any hands up? Nope. All right, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, I see a hand.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, there we go. I'm
I
trying to look
just-
at my phone. I should look up high. Huh?
We live over on Hughes Court, as Terry knows, Dr. Terry. And my next door neighbor at 5772 Hughes Street has had a vehicle parked in front of her house for 7 weeks. She's tried to call the non-emergency number. She's 91. So it's, it's difficult. And her neighbors did turn in a picture to get it done for her. And actually there's a couple of vehicles. There's a small Volkswagen that's broken down. Doesn't belong to any of our people. We have that a lot here. And so it makes it difficult for, if we have any emergency, God forbid, vehicles that have to come through. And we do have a lady, Mrs. Featherston, some of you know, she's now in hospice care and she has caregivers. So sometimes it's difficult for the caregivers to find parking because 58th Street people are up here. But the 7 weeks, I'm just kind of hoping that the police, the patrol little vehicle that used to come around, I would see it go east on Hughes Street, but it never comes west on Hughes Street, but just to kind of come and check those things. And they used to mark the tires. I have seen RSVP in the last 2 weeks. I saw them finally come back around one time, and that was great. So just maybe if somebody could request that we have a little more presence of, the patrolling of those vehicles would be great, or responsiveness to that. If they've been there 7 weeks and it's a car that looks like it can't really be driven, it's got some broken front light, and the hood isn't latched very well. So I think somebody has just stashed it there. That would be great.
Sandy, was that there when I towed that last vehicle there in front of your house? Well, next to your house or whatever that was.
Well, this is right in front of her place, and I don't have the picture with, like I said, the neighbor turned that in to get it done.
Well, the
but
problem would
there.
get it.
It's been 7 weeks.
The problem would get it done, and I think I sent an intern, an email back to D9 today. They were requiring about something. Is we don't see get it done. There's
Yeah.
only select officers who see that, and they're almost all in neighborhood policing division.
Yeah.
And it's only 1 or 2 of them there that see it. John Llewellyn is one. The sergeants can see it, but they're really limited. And I don't know how that works with parking enforcement. I don't know if they see it either.
Yeah.
So someone was saying that there was some parking enforcements that was submitted on Get It Done, and they all was cleared. But the problem is if they may not be getting to the right spot,
Yeah,
is
that's
what I'm saying.
I
So I don't, if you submit a get it done, it's going to give you a reference number. If something comes back, if that reference number and says it's closed, but the issue hasn't been resolved, you need to ask questions utilizing that reference number. How can this be closed when the issue has not been resolved?
I
I
haven't
don't
seen,
think any of that, and obviously the young lady that you're speaking of is not going to be able to do that and stuff,
no,
but
she's, and
um,
she tried waiting online for a long time to get
No.
the non-emergency number to call and to, to report it, and then gave up. And then the neighbor next door to her on the corner of 58th and Hughes Street, he decided to take pictures and whatnot. So I just thought I'd bring it up that if they have parking enforcement, that they come up the hill and they go to the left, but they don't come up to the,
Well,
right.
just because they drive up, they may not be marking every tire
Yeah.
too. So again, they fall under SDPD, they fall under the traffic division, but we have nothing to do with them.
Yeah,
So it's one of those things, I don't know what their schedule is. I talk with their supervisors sometimes and they're very receptive if you got comments and, issues, but I don't know what their
yeah.
routes are.
Okay.
If they have routes.
I see Martha's hand up. Is this in regards to this topic, Martha? Okay,
Yes, yes. I have a comment once they're finished. I just don't want to forget my comment regarding this.
all right.
Well, I was glad to see RSVP guys come back around. I was dancing on the sidewalk. Yay!
All
We should
right.
volunteer to be an RSVP, but that's neither here nor there.
All right.
And
Is
then
there,
I just got one more thing for her real quickly, and I do apologize. I know I'm running my mouth. Not all RSVPs can do traffic enforcement.
Sometimes
So,
they let people know. That's why I was,
okay, I'm just saying they can't always do
Yeah.
it, so they're not authorized to, so.
okay.
thank you.
All right. Any other comments? All right. Well, thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to our community reports. And so we will start with Officer Terry Hoskins.
I've been talking for like an hour, it seems. Can you let Miss Martha go first and
Sure. Sure.
Can I say something
Sure.
first too? I forgot to say thank you to Martha and our D9 office for help on the Xena Canyon cleanup. I Love a Clean San Diego was a little short funded this year and could not provide a dumpster for the size we need to do a canyon cleanup. And I contacted Martha, and our District 9 office is providing a 40-yard dumpster for us, so we should be able to get Xena Canyon cleaned up this year. Thank you. Okay.
All right. So you have the floor, Martha.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Before I forget, I want to mention the comment that I had earlier. Officer Terry, since I had no idea that not the CROs get any notification when residents submit a request for 72-hour long-term parking. But there's a lot of things that we need to tweak in the system, and this is definitely one of them. Will it be okay if we tell residents that after they submit their get it done, can they forward it to you so at least you have it on your radar? Or that would be too much of a burden because you'll be flooded with requests. But do you have any suggestion for residents when they are caught in this situation that they have no clue what's going on and they're just in limbo, basically?
Yeah, regardless of how busy we are, I always encourage residents, if they even submit stuff to like code enforcement, just to let me know so I can follow up. It may not be a priority for me, but at least it'll be on my radar, and hopefully it won't be, 7 weeks or something.
Okay.
And if they do send me something to, don't get don't get hurt or something if I don't respond immediately. Just continue to, as like last week, I was the only CRO for the entire division last week.
Wow.
So there's priority stuff that comes up and things get pushed around. So just continue to remind me if I don't get something done, and I'll humbly apologize and I'll get right to it. So, but yes, have them send it to me, Martha. That's
Thank you.
More than acceptable.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I also want to mention that if you get it done reports that you submit and then they said it's closed and you see that nothing happened, please forward those requests to your rep, in this case to me, and I'll follow up. A lot of times there is still faults in the communication, how that system flows, and we need to start tagging them. But while that happens, please always forward your unresolved get it done requests that have been closed, or that you see that they just linger for weeks and weeks and nothing happens. Please forward it to your rep, and we'll be more happy to follow them up. All right.
Martha, you muted yourself.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be placing, we have the flyer for the big cleanup on May 13. I'm going to be placing it on the chat. This is one of those, I call it mega cleanups, because we take use about everything and they're always fun. And we're going to be taking tires, electronics, I believe even hazardous materials this time, mattresses, furniture, everything. And please help us to share the word. We're going to be, because we're inviting 4 of the communities on District 9 to this cleanup, because before it used to be District 4, but we're still teaming up with that district. We're going to be inviting Rolando Park, Redwood Village, Choyas Creek, and 2 other smaller communities to this. So if any of you guys are walkers, if you can help us to deliver flyers to the communities that are not connected with social media, we'll appreciate it very much. I believe I'm going to have probably 2 days of interns to help me to flyer some of the communities, but if you can please help me to flyer some of at least your neighborhoods, it will be very, very helpful. Yeah. Yes, Lynn, you'll be.
Oh, no,
We're volunteer. I'm volunteering.
Yeah, we'll volunteer.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. The flyers are already on in order, so as soon as they're ready, I will contact you and we'll plan something. That is that. And the other thing that our office is very busy working on is on the Student Protector Ordinance that is coming this month to council. And this is something that the office has been working on for a very long time. We care for our tenants. We're not advocating for people not to pay the rent, for people to destroy properties that they live in. We're not advocating for any of that. This ordinance that we're bringing forward is designed to protect tenants from being evicted if they're paying the rent and abiding by the terms of the lease. Some people might wonder why renters are being evicted even if they're paying the rent, but this is happening throughout San Diego. especially when some landlords see the chance to increase rent by a substantial amount. The council president wants to protect tenants from this needless eviction because it is unfair. It displaces people and families from their communities and puts people at risk of falling into homelessness. Some of the latest numbers show that last year we placed nearly 12,000 unsheltered people into housing, but nearly 15,000 fell into homelessness. Why sky high rents in San Diego? It may cost $8,000 to $10,000 for people to find a new apartment and pay first and last month's rent, security deposit, and moving costs. So it's very, very extremely expensive to move. That large cost of getting evicted puts people in danger of being forced into the streets. With our city facing a housing and homelessness crisis, it's incredibly important to make sure we prevent people from becoming homeless. Some of the provisions on this ordinance include stricter guidelines and when landlords can evict people when they are abiding by the terms of their lease. We have seen many cases when landlords evict tenants because they say renovations are needed, but they slap a new coat of paint on the property and then bring rent and then begin renting the home to someone else for much higher rent. Right now, the landlords can only legally raise the rent by 10% a year. So evicting tenants for renovations can allow them to exploit a loophole and raise the rent. We're trying to close these loopholes as much as possible. But there are instances when landlords can terminate a lease. Legitimate renovations to a property are sometimes needed, and sometimes landlords want to rent to their immediate family or take home off the rental market. New ordinance would include relocation assistance for tenants, especially those who are at risk of homelessness, like seniors and those with disabilities. And these protections will begin on the first day of being a tenant. Currently, renters do not have basic protection until they live in a home for 2 years. There is much more on our website, and I will share that on the chat also. We understand that there may be concern about landlords' property rights and concerns about their ability to continue stay in business. That is why our office worked with the Southern California Rental Housing Association and California Apartment Association, a group of owners and landlords to make sure our proposal was developed understanding what possible unintended consequences and addressing concerns of landlords. The council president is working with members of the community who have been displaced by evictions, and he's working with the mayor on the rental housing industry. He's bringing all these people together to create a long-term solution to address our city's housing and homelessness crisis. Like I mentioned, there is not, we don't have a date for the council to bring this change for voting, but we'll definitely let you know in case you are interested on either coming to council or just watching it at home, you know, on the Cox channel or online. So I will keep you definitely posted, and this is a very important change that we're trying to bring to the city of San Diego. Do you have any questions?
I put a comment in the chat, which you can respond to if you want, but basically I know not in Rolando Park, because as far as I know, we don't have any mobile home parks, but and I don't know why they call them mobile homes, because they're not really mobile, most of them anyway. But I'm noticing that a lot of the things that apply to like renters in most parts of the city do not apply to people who are paying lot rent, and most of those are seniors. And it's kind of concerning. I know personally a couple of people who their rents went up way more than 10%. like way more.
Yes.
And those people are typically on a fixed income. I was just wondering if you guys would ever add something that would protect some of those people, but not really relevant to Rolando Park, so we can move on.
Yeah, no, but that's a very good question. So, and I think somebody in our weekly meetings, somebody brought this question. I just don't remember, but I'll look it up for you and I will let you know. I'm not sure if I have your email address, but I'll send that through Lynn if I don't have your email address, because I think this is an important question and something that I'm sure they have it on their radar, the policy team, but I think it needs to be, at least they need to be aware that this is also a problem. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Any additional questions or comments?
Hand up. I have a hand up for Martha. It's not related to this question. Did you, but it is related to the cleanup on May 13th.
Mhm.
I have a flyer from you that it was going to be a hazardous waste cleanup. And
Yes.
I got the newsletter from District 4 today that says they're doing a cleanup at Gloria's Mesa at Choyas Lake, and it doesn't include hazardous waste. So are
Oh.
these two separate cleanups, or did the hazardous waste one go away?
You know what? It's the same cleanup.
Okay.
And I'll double check with District 4 because that was one of the big things that a lot of residents were excited about it. I'll circle back with them, and if you already got the flyer, that is going to be the flyer. But oh, that's a shame because
Yeah, no, it was in
Yeah.
her newsletter today, so I just said I
Okay.
would, since I remembered this was supposed to be hazardous waste, I just want to make sure.
yeah. Yeah,
okay.
you're absolutely right, Len. That's it.
Okay.
That's the one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. And then my second question is about the schedule for the budget hearings next month. Do you?
Oh, yes. You know what? I'm going to so while somebody else is talking, I'm going to dig into my notes and I'm going to put the schedule on the notes because I already have it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you
Mhm.
very much. Appreciate it.
Mhm. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments for Martha? All right. Well, thank you, Martha. And I think
Hey,
that's all for our reps today, right?
No, did Terry
Just-
talk? Terry did.
Oh, I'm sorry, Terry.
Oh,
I
Terry.
called you first, and so now I forgot you handed it over. The floor is with you now, Terry.
You know, Sonia, I love you to pieces,
But
I don't know, I'm getting disenfranchised rather quickly.
I'm
only been
more
on
thinking of you as a
community-
resident now than our representative.
Is that how you treat me as a community member?
That's right. You're a community member now.
Privilege, right? It's a
I
privilege,
know.
right?
I mean, I joined when I wasn't even living here. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that yet as far as a community member or a CRO. But anyway, in the interim, I'm going to try to keep it relevant as a CRO. So for Redwood Village for the month of February, there were 143 calls for service for police assistance in February. And Rolando Park, there were 91 calls for service. The month before, I'm sorry, that's totally wrong. March, it was 151 for Redwood Village, and it was 143 in February. And then for Rolando Park, it was 113 in March last month, and then it was 91 in February. I apologize for that. I will talk about Redwood Village first. As far as crime reports, for the last previous 30 days is what you're looking at there. The burglary, commercial burglary, it talks about up front was at Marshall's. The one aggravated assault involved a DV where one of the parties tried to run over the other party with the vehicle.
Wow.
The street robbery They did not apprehend the guy that did that. So that's the little guy with the little, I guess is like a yellow pea green color with the little hand, like
Robin
Charlie's
Hood.
Angels look-alike, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But the victim was sitting on a park bench, and this gentleman, it was a black male, came up. Basically, he was had a mental condition, or he was high, or possibly both, because he was also dancing in the street. Pulled a knife out on the gentleman sitting on the bench, told him to give me all of his stuff, and the guy just took off running, called 911, and by the time it all worked itself out, they could not find the gentleman who did that. But that was on University, about 58th Street. The three simples assault, which is the ones that have the actual fist, not the boxing glove looking one. One was a DV, one was between friends, and one was PD related, where PD was apprehending, doing a search warrant, and the guy was fighting with PD. And then the vandalism, which is a little can of spray paint, it was on the east end of Rock Place, it looks like. It was obviously I don't know if it was obviously not, but the graffiti said, "You gave my man herpes, homewrecker." So I would assume that was a scorn previous something, I don't know. So, but that was the graffiti that was noted. Any questions about that? And I'll move on to
No question.
Rolando Park.
Okay, right ahead.
Okay, so
Hang on.
if you go to the next slide, please.
And I would if I could.
Just a moment.
Okay.
There we go. Coming.
Okay, well, that's the arrest for, which is fine, we can stay there. That was the arrest for Redwood Village. And one of the arrests was and I'm not gonna, it's hard to tell where they were located, but one was a 5150. It was a mental breakdown. So it was a response with PERT and stuff. Two of the arrests were from marshals. One was a warrant, one was a DV. Obviously the one that was fighting with police that we talked about a moment ago, that person got arrested. One was for a parole violation, and there were also a DUI that was arrested off of University. Any questions with the arrest portion for Redwood Village? Okay, so if we go to the next one, which is the crime report for Rolando Park, the two vehicles were car prowls. One larceny from a vehicle was the same thing as a car prowl, but the vehicle was left unlocked. One of the things that concerned me was a burglary at the residential burglaries, and you can see those are the little blue looking with the little white house in the center of it. Two of those, well, one was from an unlocked front door. One was from an unlocked rear door, how they entered, and one was through a locked door, but there was no damage to it. So they're not quite sure how that happened. But it just presses upon people to ensure that they keep their doors locked when they're there or not there. So just keep that in mind. The motor vehicle theft is obviously they stole the vehicle. That's pretty self-explanatory. The simple assaults, this was, well, one was a grandson that pushed his elderly grandmother down. She was like in her 80s. So that was one assault. And another one was two sisters punching each other. They were accusing of one stealing money from the other one. And then there was an elder. This is one that's kind of, we just need to make sure our seniors know better than this, but a senior, a male who was a senior, saw this female who looked like, I don't know, he was talking with her, maybe she was homeless, invited her in for dinner. They had dinner. She left. He met her again. She came in, borrowed some cigarettes, left. And then she started knocking on the door and coming in. And she got to the point where she was very reluctant to leave. And the last time she punched the elderly male in the nose. So we just got to make sure our elders are a little bit more savvy than that. And if you could go to the next one, please. Get any questions from Orlando Park on that? If not, I can't see hands, so if someone else.
Oh, no, we're good. No
Okay.
hands are up.
Okay, they're probably tired of me talking. I know you are, Lynn.
No, we're good.
And then the rest for Orlando Park for the previous 30 days. One was a felony warrant. One was the grandson, obviously for pushing his grandmother. We had one was a mental illness situation. One was patrol. The one that got hit, assaulted, that was one. And then we had one person that was trespassing that was arrested. Any questions on that? And I just got a couple of things that to mention if there's no questions, and I'll hush really quick, I promise. I will also confess that I was not there for the cleanup. I think the only people that was there for the cleanup up on the mountaintop where the water thing was Neighborhood Policing Division. I'm sure they were the ones that,
Yes.
they were the little elves that went to sleep and woke up and it was all gone. So they're the ones that deserve the credit. I deserve nothing from that. And then the only other thing is that we're still working with the house located at Streamview in Winlow. I finally got a hold of the actual property owner. Well, there's a co-property owner, but I got a hold of one of them. He was supposed to send me a letter of agency. He has not done so. I know there's a lot of stuff still going on, but we technically can't go on that property unless we see someone like committing a crime and running onto the property, because we do not have permission from the owner to be on that property. So it's kind of a cluster at the moment. I just want to apologize for the community members that live around that. It's definitely unfortunate. And I think that is it, unless anyone else has any other questions for me. It's always great to see everybody. Everyone's happy face. Cheryl, yours. See? Happy face.
Well, thank you.
And so and I'll hush, I promise. So.
So thank you, Terry. I think that is all of our representatives. I think I have everybody this time. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started with our community discussion, which is about our traffic calming and pedestrian safety.
Let me pull this up if I can. And I wonder if I have it. Nope, I don't see it. Oh, because I closed it. Sorry about that, folks. And the wrong file. So to start off, I got an email last night from someone who lives on Waite. And she had mentioned some things she thought needed to be addressed. And boy, sorry, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not screen sharing that, sorry.
Didn't mean to.
Okay, there we go. So she sent a list last night, and it's a good list. It's a good start. And none of these require traffic studies, I don't think. Some of them are just some simple striping or paying attention, giving some attention at stop signs. Some of them we'll have to check. I don't think parts of Aragon can be striped because we have edge lines on several blocks, and I don't believe you can have edge lines and stripe the median on the street, but I will find out. One street that could certainly use some help would be Livingston from College up to 69. That is sort of a free-for-all coming in from the freeway there. And I think the other one she mentioned that I think would be really good is at Suffolk, where people pull out. There's a stop sign there. There's no visible stop on the street itself. And she's already seen a couple of accidents there that she just happened to catch. So I think those are ideas. We know that we're getting some traffic calming. It's not going to be enough. And in the interim, in the 7 years since we did traffic studies and found out we could get this, lots of other problem areas have cropped up. And last week I heard a very disappointing statistic that traffic enforcement has dropped 80% in the country as a whole in the last couple of years. And part of it is just because we don't have enough police help to do traffic enforcement. But the reason I think we see so much of it is because people think, I can do it. There's no one there to stop us.
Yeah.
So this is just a little dialogue, and it's really for both communities, because I've driven in Redwood Village. It's just as interesting as it is here. So we should talk about what we can do. What areas do we want to look at, some intersections, to see if we can get some help from traffic engineering. We know already that Vista Grande is a trouble spot, particularly to the school entrance. We had a little discussion about maybe putting crossing guards out there during the school day.
Yes.
But what else do people want to see? I mean, we heard of a lot of people complaining during January, not complaining, but being very concerned. And traffic popped up, as it does almost every year, as a priority. But we need to know what people think or would like to see happen to see if it really can happen. Some things are just outside of our realm, and we've certainly been turned down enough by traffic engineering. So.
Right.
I would like to see still La Mesa drop their speed limit to 25, because those people coming into our neighborhood from that direction are going 30.
And that's on Waite, right?
That's on Waite, but I think that's on some of the other streets as well. No?
It is. I know that there was a state code that mandated that if the 85th percentile was above the stated speed limit, the local jurisdiction was forced to raise the speed by 5 miles per hour. And that's what happened in Oak Park at Carver Elementary, which is on Juanita Street. It's a school, and it has a 30-mile-per-hour speed district, which just, I think, is horrendous. And I emailed I emailed our traffic engineer and asked, because the state did pass a new law last year that allows local jurisdictions to lower that speed back down. And I asked our traffic engineer when that's going to happen. And there is apparently a plan that they're working on in the city, but it hasn't happened yet. So, but that's La Mesa. And we can contact the La Mesa traffic engineering and ask them, and I'll report back at the next meeting about that. For sure, Wait, because that's 30. People never slow down when they cross over 69th. I mean, that's a given. They're not going to slow down from 30 to 25. Okay. What else, folks?
I still would like to look into the stop sign. I guess I need to talk to you about how to do the signature drive.
There is a process to do four-way stops if traffic engineering says it doesn't warrant it. There's an alternate process that can go through our planning group, but it does require a lot of community participation, and that is getting people to sign signatures, bring it to the community council. We then take it to the planning group, and if the planning group approves it, then it will go to the city council, our city council representative, to approve it. We have the stop sign at Marlow and Vista Grande, and Aragon and Marlow, and Aragon and Celia Vista. Those are four-way stops as a result of the community petitioning for it. And those all went to our planning group. This has been several years now, but it can be done.
Okay.
It's just, do people want to do it?
I totally noticed that nobody stops at the stop signs at any of those intersections.
Nope.
But you know,
I do.
Yeah, me too.
an effort to actually stop, you know, and count 2 seconds, and it irritates anybody that's behind me or somebody that comes up at the same time. They don't care. They just go through. I mean, I see it every day, all day long, and it's amazing. And then you get toward La Mesa on Waite, and these people come up their streets and they just make a right turn. They don't stop at all. They just come Waite, and to get toward Massachusetts, they don't stop at all.
Yeah. I've almost been hit multiple times by people coming up, going towards Massachusetts, just pulling into my driveway because they're so close and they're going so fast. And that's, I mean, there's not even that much room between my house and where they would have gotten on to Waite, but they're just like, nah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. So crazy.
Martha, you had your hand up?
Yes, I have a good question.
Sure.
Do you know if, as you're coming from La Mesa on White Street, is there any signage that the speed limit is now 25? I mean, will
Yes.
drivers know? Oh, there is.
Yes.
Is it like flashing or just a sign?
Just
Just
a
a-
sign.
Just a sign.
Okay. I was thinking in a way that, you know, if, of course, drivers are going to be drivers, but at least we add in a level of warning that this is a 25-mile stone now and not 30. But but there is a sign already. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand the logic of why we can't have speed bumps because of school buses. Like I went over plenty of speed bumps when I was in school, when I was in buses. Like, I don't understand the logic there.
I'm also very aware that in North Park, a street called Altadena, tried to get speed bumps. They were turned down by traffic engineering, and they collected a petition of about 300 signatures, and they took it to the D3 representative, and they are getting speed bumps there.
Oh.
Okay.
So I think, you know, we should look at some of our streets and ask again. And if we don't like the answer from traffic engineering, then let's look at what our alternatives could be. And that might be community
Grassroots.
support and take it to our city council representative and ask for help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, in the past, we've also talked about a few things like maybe converting Livingston to a one-way street. Livingston originally, when that off-ramp from College was configured, was supposed to be closed completely. And for some community members at the time didn't want that to happen. But if you're ever walking at 5 o'clock during commuting hour and you watch like 30 cars in a row coming in off Livingston, and they're all going 35 miles an hour down Aragon and onto Waite,
Yep.
that's a serious problem. And what happens to that traffic if people were to agree to convert that to a one-way street? Where's that traffic going? Are they going to come up to College Grove and come in that way? Will they just make the problem worse there? We don't know.
Well, I think it would stop people from cutting through there to get to Massachusetts to go to the freeway, though.
I guess when you're thinking about one way, we want it one way coming out of there.
One way coming out, yeah.
Not going,
Not going in.
right? So coming at it in the purpose of them going through there is a faster way. And if they have to go all the way down to the light to get into the neighborhood, that may slow some people down
Yes.
and reconsider their path. So yeah, maybe that's something we really want to address, to where it just be an exit, not an entrance.
We did try and survey people a few years ago about it, and what we heard back, 100% of the people who lived on Aragon wanted that street converted to a one-way. And people who lived on the other side of Rolando Park didn't want it at all because it's convenient for them to get home.
Yeah.
I understand that, but we just have to figure out a priority here to slow some of this traffic down.
Right.
Several years ago, I spent a few mornings, I went out and actually counted cars coming in from Livingston and Waite from that area and coming in from Racine. And what I found was that more than 80% of that traffic is cut through traffic. They're not Rolando Park residents. They're just cutting through from the 94 to University and beyond. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I think we really need to really put that out there, that this is a cut through, which is not only affecting those, people who want to get to their homes, but it's affecting others who, live in the neighborhood. So that needs to be really addressed. High priority for, I would say, high visibility to the neighborhood, and let's guess we revisit.
Couldn't they just do it at certain times? Like I noticed in some neighborhoods, you just can't do it during commute hours.
Ignore it. They'll ignore it.
Cheryl.
They're not gonna do it at certain times. They'll go whenever. Yeah, unfortunately.
I wish they could all be on their good behavior.
Right. But yeah, time is not gonna make a difference. Right. Yeah.
I have a question for this group.
Sure.
Would you like me to start an evaluation for one way on that street? It will take a minimum of 90 days, first of all, working days. So it's going to be more like 4 months. And let's say for the sake of this conversation, it gets approved, then the requestor, which in this case, I'm going to name Len for this purpose, the requestor and her team will have to go house by house and get a yay or nay from each one of the residents.
And that's residents on that street?
On that street only. And they have to agree to the change. And I believe it has to be 75% or more that the residents who live there agree to that. And they're going to approve that by signature, and then the city is going to and they need to confirm that those people live there. It's not just somebody who did their name.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then the change is, the change happens.
Yeah. Okay.
So would you be asking the residents of Livingston?
Yes. Livingston.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're going to be affected.
Livingston.
Yeah, because they're going to be very, greatly affected.
They're going to be one that's affected by it.
Yeah.
And right, it's not very many.
No,
it's only a few houses. So
maybe 10 homes there.
Yeah.
Martha.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because all the other ones are the cross. It's like a few. Once you get past, it's only a few, and then it curves around to a different street. So
Right, to 69. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the request is to make it from west to east, right?
from east to west.
east to west.
East to west.
So it'd be closed to incoming
coming
traffic.
out of the neighborhood, coming out of Livingston,
People-
no going in.
Right. People could go out on Livingston to college, but they can't come in from college on Livingston.
Got it. Okay, from east to west. Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Okay, so I will be, just to confirm, I will be sending a request for an evaluation to engineering for one-way street, east to west on Livingston from 69 to College Grove,
Yep.
I think. Okay,
Or
excellent.
it actually could just be almost, I think, from Aragon to Livingston. Because if they can't come in, there's no problem
Right.
with them beyond
Yes, there you
Aragon
go.
because
True.
they just come in and go straight on Aragon to cut through.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
There you go.
well, we can talk offline and
Yeah.
I'll show you what it looks like on the map.
Okay, okay,
Okay,
let's
Sure.
do that. Thank you.
thank you, Martha.
What was the firemen's in the into that community from college? Livingston, would that be something?
We'd have to see if that's a fire, if that's already an emergency
It is.
path, but which I doubt.
It's
Right.
not, it's
Yeah,
not.
I really doubt. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think it's an emergency path or anything like that, right? So it's like any other one-way street, right? They have to go around or they go use their sirens and they go through, right? They're
Yeah,
emergency.
exactly.
So if it's an emergency, they can go the wrong way, right?
Right.
Actually, first responders are prohibited from doing that.
Right.
They'll be liable.
If they
the
hit
city
somebody.
typically. Yeah, so
Got it.
typically I don't know about fire. I know that we'll be prosecuted, but people want to prosecute us for anything anyways.
Yeah,
But
they sure do.
they
Right.
will definitely prosecute us if we go against traffic. So
Gotcha.
that's not
Okay.
actually correct.
Okay.
All right.
So I have one more question maybe about another area for a one-way street too, and that's Little College. North of Brems to Jeff Street. Little College from College Grove to Billman is a one-way street. And I believe residents asked about that quite a few years ago. It was converted, it's a one-way street. From Brems, which is, just north of the 7-Eleven there, it's the last street in Rolando
Mhm.
Park in that section. Down to Jefferson, the street is so narrow.
I mean, very.
You really can't pass. And it seems we've sort of talked about before, if that's an area that we should consider being a one-way street to be consistent with the other part of Little College.
Mhm.
But also, if you are heading down that hill and somebody's coming up, it's pretty scary because they're
Yeah.
usually going about 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So that's something we might want to look at.
I think it would help the flow of traffic also because people turn right past University, people turn into that street. It could probably help a lot with that backup right there also. So we could just
yeah.
continue the flow of traffic up the hill and
Mhm.
people would
Yeah.
just have to make the left and go down from the other way.
Okay.
And then that may help with the through traffic, right? People
Yeah,
won't be
back
trying to
people
get off to
up on
avoid college.
University.
Yeah, to avoid college. That'll help that little street over there that only people who live over there will be more be the people that would drive it the most, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are all little changes that can have each one's going to have maybe a little bit of an impact incrementally. Redwood Village, there's, as I said, next month at the planning group, city engineering's going to present their update on the design for Streamview Drive. And I'm curious, that's because that street sees a lot of traffic and a lot of speeding. And is Jennifer still on? Because I think you just had a traffic study done several months ago for, was it Hughes Street?
It's been longer. It's been longer than that for
Okay.
Hughes. Yeah. Yeah. And it was resolved that yes, on Hughes Street where Darnall Elementary is, we qualify for flashing signs that tell people to slow down, but there's no funding. So personally, I don't mind not having flashing signs outside.
Yeah.
But they're only flashing when a car's going by, so.
Oh, is it only flashing at one? Oh, it's motion sensor like thingy?
Well, yeah, cars.
Oh, okay.
Trigger, it's a radar.
Oh, okay.
Radar, and we have a lot of racers, so might want to see how fast they can go.
Right. Yeah.
And that said, there are Nordine, who lives in Redwood Village, does not have a microphone, and he has a few things in the chat, some comments way back to the dog park, just asking if there's a sign about dogs not being allowed to be off leash, and then a few comments more recently about speed limit preferences.
I can't see it.
Okay.
No, regarding the
Sign.
park, yes, there is a sign there. It's put up by the Humane Society, I believe, and it's passive approach. It looks so pretty that you almost can't see the message there, which is that, yeah, no off-leash dogs. So the community council is looking at putting a sign up there that's maybe a little bit literally more black and white. This is not an off-leash dog park. And the phone number to call to report it. But yeah, it's it has to be assumed for joint use parks, dogs can never be allowed off leash, and it's because of the school kids. It's shared with the school. So there was an incident a while back where the substitute custodian here forgot to lock the gate, the outside gate. And the PE class went out to the park to use it, and here was a guy out here with these dogs running around off leash during a school day. So,
Yeah.
it's just, people read or don't read the sign, I think. And so, Nordine had some other questions about the speed limit or some statement.
Yeah, it says he's in favor of raising the speed limits to the 80th percentile. The flow of traffic is worth it. Nobody stops at the four-way stops. It's better to make the street design so that the drivers don't feel like they should drive any faster. One such design is asking for planters that you need to avoid on each side of the streets. They did this in Mira Mesa. Much better natural solution that does not break cars like speed bumps. And there's a link. And then for Redwood on Streamview, remove all four-way stops, add roundabouts, which is the plan.
Yes.
No flashing lights is my vote, mine too. Only I would like to see noise abatement. Amelia, can we, that's Bettina, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what the proposal is for Streamview Drive in May.
Yeah, I hope we get a good turnout. It needs to be done. Let's just get Streamview finished up and hope that all of our residents are somewhat happy with it. I think the overall design will have a major impact on speeding on Streamview once all the roundabouts are completed. So, anybody else in Redwood Village? Any other streets there that you want to have any concerns about? I don't want to feel like we're whining and complaining about Rolando Park.
Right.
We're whining and complaining about Rolando Park.
Bettina?
Yes, I'm always going to put my pitch in for Boren Street, where the speed bumps were installed that have made the situation worse. Because there's the speed bumps have the gaps, and so what people are doing is they just drive over the yellow line. So they're essentially driving into oncoming traffic. And I walk my dog every day, and it's just crazy what I see there. So I don't know. I'm just adding that to the complaints, I guess. It's really bad. It's really bad. I'm surprised we don't have more accidents. really surprised. It's
Wow.
yeah.
So they drive the wrong way on the street to
Yes.
avoid, oh my God.
Yeah, instead of, lifting their foot from the gas to the brake, which I know is a lot of effort, they just drive right over the speed bumps through the gaps, which means they're over onto the other side. And yeah.
What are
And
the gaps
I'm
for?
sorry.
the
People are
speeding is
exhausting.
terrible.
They
I'm
are
sorry?
exhausting. I said people are exhausting.
They are
I'm sorry, I
exhausting.
just cannot believe this. Yeah.
So the gaps are in the speed bump, right?
Yes.
Because those are for emergency vehicles,
And
I believe.
their cars are too narrow, so then they have to maneuver to get one tire that goes through it. And oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. All I can say is those speed bumps, unfortunately, made the situation worse
Yeah.
Okay.
because of the gaps. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
All right. So we'll take that into consideration
We'll
also
add it to
then.
the list. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to look at an evaluation, one-way evaluation on Livingston, possibly a one-way evaluation on Little College from Brems to Jeff. Again, a small section. I think some of the streets where we're getting the flashing lights put in, we're going to have to wait and see what kind of a positive impact, what, if any, we see from that.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to go from there. But we will talk again. We're going to revisit crossing guards at the school.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be in favor of that. It's just something to do. What else? Oh, and if anyone does want to pursue a four-way stop, just tell us the intersection. Let's look back. I have records for most of our traffic studies done in the last 7 years to see if we've done a traffic study to warrant a four-way stop. And if one is shown not to be warranted, residents want it, then we can look at that and we can go through the process. Okay.
And Nordine, I saw your message about the zigzag planters. I think we'll save a copy of the chat and we'll take a look at that.
Yeah. All of the chat, by the way, I do post, all of the chat gets posted with our minutes on our website. So if you go in and you're not on Facebook, you can go to our minutes, I usually publish them after the next day. There's a link to the video. You don't have to be on Facebook to see the video, but the minutes always include the chat and Terry's incident report, any important links, files, all of that. So that's about it.
All right.
I would like to.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
you
just
can.
added some.
Yeah,
just added
what do you mean
something
by
in the
limited
chat.
eyes, Terry? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, because if you're gonna, less people are gonna be seeing that street.
Mhm.
So there already is an issue with people parking there, for days.
Yeah.
So you are just keep in mind that a lot of times when you make something more difficult to utilize, that you're taking it away from something, but you may be adding something else. So just keep that in mind. That's all.
Yeah. Or, I mean, we've already had people on Livingston, so I guess that's an ongoing thing anyway, right?
Yeah.
It is.
So we'll
I towed
continue.
a vehicle there last week.
Yeah, yeah, so, yeah.
And,
there's
but
one
I'm
there
just saying
everywhere.
that,
Yeah.
just keep that in mind, especially for that area, because it's odd to get to anyways.
Right,
That is, yeah.
yeah.
Miles?
Okay.
I respectfully request there be a no turn on red from College Grove into College both sides, because that side street headed out towards the west and you making a right there. You have some people coming up the college going into the side street by the church.
Mhm.
And then coming out at Chase Bank, the people who have the green light coming out of Rondo Park going into college, southbound.
Mhm.
The people headed east, they do not stop. They just continue to turn right.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
Okay.
Are you talking about all four corners at that intersection, Lionel?
Coming out of Rolando Park.
And
Okay.
Oh, okay. So going, so we're looking
West,
east and west
east and west, yeah.
on College Grove,
Okay.
College Grove Way, east and west need a,
But I will say too, I see a lot of cars traveling south on College, and they turn right on College Grove there, headed west. And the light could have been red for 3 minutes, and they still just jam on through nonstop.
Well, people coming out of the neighborhood can't get out.
I know. Okay,
okay,
we're adding it to the list.
okay.
That's good. It's over.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
That's why I like Livingston, because of that light, the Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just too much traffic.
Actually, for me, I live up on Xena, Billman. Go on over to Billman. I have no problem. I go straight through. It doesn't hold me up going all the way through.
Any other comments, asks, questions?
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody. And as Lynn mentioned, everything's on RolandoPark.org website, and we hope to see you next month. Thank you.
Well, we hope to see you at the Xena Canyon cleanup.
Oh, yeah, that's first.
Oh, yes.
Right. And that was, give me the date again.
April 22nd.
April 22nd. I
9
have it
to
in my
12.
calendar.
We've got donuts again.
There you go.
We'll be
Please
there.
come out. Great, great.
If there's trash to pick up, we'll be there.
Okay.
Okay.
My kind of girl.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And you guys have a good evening.
All right.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you,
night,
everybody.
everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hmm.
Wow.
Good discussion. Well, thank you all for coming.